There. Thanks for joining me. Today's class that you join, or tonight, whatever time of day you are practicing this class, you're logging in, joining me, it's on the neck and shoulders. Um, Neck and shoulders don't play a huge role as much as other parts of the body do when it comes to exercise. Shoulders, of course, if you're, say, a swimmer or a rower, of course, using the shoulders, upper back, chest, arms a lot. Say if we're running, the neck doesn't really, not something we think about. Shoulders a little bit when you're pumping the arms, if you're sprinting or running up a steep uphill. Of course, we use the arms and shoulders to help. But if the neck gets tight, shoulders get tight, that can cause us to start rounding the shoulders, kind of start hunching over. And then that can start spreading down into the low back. All right, it's all connected, the whole spine, neck down to low back to the sacrum area. And, then that causes all kinds of other issues. Um, Completely aside from any kind of exercise, the neck is an area we really want to pay attention to in our daily lives. We do a lot of sitting these days, probably more so than normal, in front of our computers, our TV, our desk, etc. And it's normal to again start that rounding, that kind of hunching over, contribute to bad posture, and again that low back pain I mentioned. The neck, if you think about it, is kind of a little bit of a fragile part of the body. Super easy, unfortunately, to tweak, pinch a nerve, get tight, not have a lot of good movement, mobility. So we want to pay attention to that. We want to try to keep it mobile, not have those instances where, my neck's really sore, pinched a nerve, threw it out, however we term it. And I will always caution you, whatever practice we're doing, if it involves the neck in any way, to really be mindful and slow about turning the head, especially if you're prone to getting those pinched nerves or tight muscles. You want to just take it really easy and slow, go in a little at a time. And again, anytime it feels tight, that's your signal to back off a little bit. All right, we're going to start in a seated position. We're going to start with some nice, good warm-ups for the neck and shoulders. So come and find a seat. I always advocate, especially when we're sitting a little longer, to get some support under your seat, a nice thick folded blanket. And if you don't have a yoga blanket, most of you I'm sure won't, you could use, what they call stadium blankets or Afghans. Get it in a nice thick fold so it's really cushy. You could sit on a firm cushion or a really firm pillow. Try not to sit on those really soft, squishy pillows because it might feel good under your butt, but it's not going to give you support. It's not going to support your back and your torso. You could sit with the legs straight as well here. You don't have to have them cross-legged. In fact, you might want to start that way since we are going to be in a seat for the first few minutes of this class. So let's start warming up the neck. And we're going to do it real slow, be real slow. This is going to be a little slower paced class than some of the other ones I present. Not a lot of flows. So we're just going to start really easy, tipping the chin down towards the chest. And again, you feel tightness right away in the back of the neck. Don't go down as far. And then really slowly begin to lift the chin. Maybe it feels okay. You can look up towards the ceiling, kind of point the chin up, but again, watch this. Let's do that just a couple more times, real slow, to kind of think of this as like the daisy on a stem, kind of the daisy's drooping. And then now the daisy's lifting up a little more and it's brightening and opening its petals. And then just one more time like that. And then we add a little more, drop it down, kind of almost curl in, drop the chin as far down to the chest as you can comfortably. And then slowly, again, one more time, lift it up. Now you come face center and you slowly, and again, do this really mindfully, begin to turn, look over to your right. Carefully turn the head back to center and then over to the left. Let's get a couple more. And again, if it feels tight, sore, at any time you decrease how far You look over. You don't go over as far. Let's get one more and then we'll put those two together. Center. Carefully turn, look to the right, just to where it feels good. Back forward, and now over to your left. And now we're going to put both those movements together. So you're going to drop the chin to the chest. You're going to drop the right ear over to the right. You're going to turn, look up at the sky, drop the left ear towards the left. Again, that way, center, chin to chest to the right, back up, over to the left, back to center. Change direction now, center. Left ear towards left shoulder, gaze up towards the sky, right ear towards the right side. One more time. Maybe circling just a little bit faster, but make it smooth. You don't want to feel any stickiness along the way. Now, come up, tall spine. Reach the right arm up by the ear. You're going to bend the elbow and you're going to kind of cup the left ear with the right fingers. And you're slowly, do this really slow, begin to tip the right ear down towards the right shoulder. All right, the left hand, you can rest it on the left knee. You can extend it out from the shoulder so the fingertips rest on your mat or a block, or you can float the fingers up so they're kind of hovering in midair. So you get this really nice stretch along just not the left side of the neck, but getting into the outer shoulder and the arm. Let's stay here one more breath on this side. And then slowly, carefully rise. Release the right arm down, maybe right away, right hand to the knee. Lift the left arm up, bend the elbow, and now the fingers are going to kind of tickle that right ear. Use the hand and gently guide the left ear down towards the left shoulder. Be slow here. Again, if it feels tight, it feels sore, you lift up a little, you don't go as deep in. You can keep the right hand where it is. Kind of tend on to the fingers right outside the hip, or you can just kind of elevate it, let it hover. So again, you get that whole side stretch there. Take one more breath, and then slowly lift the head. Bring both hands back by the outer hips, maybe a little further back, maybe to the back edge of your mat. And then, just for breath, lift up. Look towards the sky, kind of squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift the chin up to stretch the underside of the neck. And then slowly lift up. And now you're just going to shrug both shoulders up towards the ears and let them fall down like they're too heavy to hold up. 3 more times, shrug and let them drop. And again, hunch them up and let them fall. And one more time, we raise up, we let them drop. Now you're going to start to circle the shoulders around, lift them up towards the ears, and let them fall down the back, starting to invite a little more movement, opening into the shoulders here, and then take those circles the other way. You circle forward now. We'll do this when we're standing in a few minutes. You'll get a little bit bigger movement going there. Now, tent the fingers onto the shoulders. And you're going to start to circle the elbows forward towards the front of the mat. Maybe the elbows tap or maybe not. Just kind of depends how open your shoulders are. And now you're going to go the other way. Circle back. See if the inner elbows can tap gently. As you come forward, it may not happen. It's okay. One more. All right, let that go. Get a little deeper now. Shoulders are a little warm, so we're going to get a little deeper in to these shoulder openers. We're going to come into what we call eagle arms. You're going to reach the arms out in front of you, have the palms face in like you're squeezing a yoga block between them. Take the right arm over the left, and you're going to wrap the arms up, cross them, and then press the palms together. And you're going to reach all 10 fingers to the sky and gaze up. And then exhale, you're going to round in and aim the elbows in towards the chest or belly. Inhale, lift up, open the chest. And then exhale, a little curl in. And then one more on the side. Inhale, rise, lift up, open the chest. Exhale, curl in, chin to chest, belly to spine. All right, come back up, tall spine. Now you're going to move those arms a little over to the left and back to center. All right, so it's just the arms moving, and it's a very small movement. You're not twisting, all right? You're not following the direction of the arms, So the gaze, the chest, the torso stays facing right out in front of you. One more to the side. Come back, unwind the arms, give the shoulders another little roll, maybe feel a little tight with that. And then take the other side. Arms reach out in front, parallel to the shoulders, about the height of the shoulders, palms face in, parallel. Take left arm over right, wrap the arms back up, press the palms together, same thing we did before. Lift up, reach the fingers towards the sky, gaze up towards the sky, and then curl in, aim the elbows in. Again, inhale, lift, broaden across the collarbones. Exhale, you get round, really small. And then one more time, lift up. Exhale, curl in. You come back up, tall spine, and then you just have a little movement of the arms now over to the right. So it starts to get a little more into the outer shoulders. Small movement, okay? Barely moving. We're going to do that one more time. Move over to the side, to the right, and back to center. Again, unwind the arms, give the shoulders a little shake, a little roll. We got a couple more, 2 or 3 things seated, and then we will move a little more. All right, now I'm going to take the right arm back up by the ear. Bend the elbow, but this time you're going to let the fingertips graze the upper back. You're going to take the left hand and you're going to cup the right elbow with the left hand so we stretch the tricep out. So stay sitting up tall, grounding through your seat. We're going to take one more breath on this side and then let that go. Right away, other side, left arm reaches long. Bend the elbow, let the fingers tap the upper back. You take the right hand and you're going to cup the left elbow. So we stretch out the tricep and the shoulder as well. 2 more breaths, sitting up tall. 1 more. All right, release. So now if the legs are crossed, you could change the cross of the legs, or if they're been crossed, you can certainly slide them out to straight or vice versa. Move around. We have 2 more poses here in our seat for now. Take the arms right out from the shoulders to what I call T position. You can have a little bend in the elbows, the palms face down. We're going to do just 2 rounds of external and internal rotation of the shoulders. First, you're going to start to spin the thumbs up towards the sky. Be really slow here, kind of slow-mo. And keep going until hopefully you can reach the palms up and the inner elbow creases towards the ceiling. Maybe you can go a little further back. So you should feel how this opens the chest. This is externally rotating those shoulders. Now we're going to go the opposite. So first come back to where we started, neutral, palms face down. This time you're going to spin the thumbs down towards the mat and the shoulders are going to kind of roll inwards. This is internally rotating the shoulders, a little more closed off position. We don't do this very often in yoga. Occasionally it calls for it, but not too often. All right, let's try that one more time. So come back to that neutral spot. Slowly start to turn the thumbs up towards the ceiling. Maybe the palms, maybe those inner elbow creases. It's fine to bend the elbows. Feel how open this is in the chest and the shoulders. And then just for contrast, one more time, other way, neutral. And then you spin the thumbs down and find that internal rotation now of the shoulders. All right, again, let that go. Roll them back. One more pose in our seat for now. You're going to take the arms back behind you. You're going to hold on to opposite elbows. It doesn't matter which one. Press the front form into the low back and open the chest. And then from here, you're going to start to come into a seated forward fold. So you can keep that bottom form resting against the low back, or you can start to move it slightly away. Take 2 more rounds of breath here. Last inhale and exhale. Slowly lift the spine. Release the clasp of the elbows. Uncross the legs. Come off your seat. Again, if you are sitting on a blanket or cushion, move it to the side. We'll use it later. For now, you're going to come to all fours, hands and knees to tabletop position. And we're going to come in to thread the needle, which is a nice opener for the shoulders and the chest and the upper back. Keep the right hand on the mat. You're going to take the left arm to the sky. So twist first. Watch the neck. Look up at the left hand. Keep watching the left hand. And then you're going to begin to reach it, thread it under the right. Lower onto the left outer shoulder side of the head. The hips stay high. All right. So you can keep the right hand on the mat, kind of in line with the chest. You can start to straighten that arm, reach it long by the right ear, or you could sweep it behind the back to a half bound position. Maybe the right fingers will find the left thigh. Pick the position with that right arm that's comfortable for you. We're focusing more on opening through the shoulder and the chest. We are here 2 more breaths. How about 1 more breath on this side? And then we're all going to return the right hand to the mat, bend the elbow. Keep the chin really tucked. Be super careful as you unwind, unpeel. Take the left arm back to that easy twist, and then slowly come back to all fours, hands and knees. Take the other side now. Press down to the left hand. You're going to open up, heel open to the right. Maybe gaze up at the next. Okay, look at the right hand. Keep watching that hand. And you're going to begin to thread it under the left. Lower onto right outer shoulder, side of head. Again, hips stay high. Left hand can stay where it is. You can start to reach it long by the ear, or you could sweep it behind you, again, for that half bind position. Take 3 more breaths here. Open up a little more if you can through right side of the ribs. Turn open. Take another deep breath here, opening the shoulders, the chest, the upper back. And then you're going to bring the left hand back to the mat. You're going to unwind carefully, take the right arm back to that twist. And now you're going to come back onto all fours, hands and knees, and set up for a few rounds of cat-cow. So you round in again, chin to chest. And then exhale, open up. So this is a little similar, so keep going here. Kind of similar movements with the spine that we did with the neck stretches, okay? Chin to chest. And then you lift the chin and gaze forward, but we're adding in the movements of the spine, articulation of the spine. So again, the neck is part of the spine. The neck is the cervical spine, the top of the spine, and it connects to the rest of the back. All right? So keep going here. Thoracic spine, lumbar spine, sacral, the 4 parts of the spine. Let's find here just 1 more round of cat and 1 more nice open cow pose. From here, come to a neutral tabletop, gaze between the hands. You're going to tuck the toes and you're going to step the feet back, lift the knees into a high plank position, and then you're going to take the hips up and find downward facing dog. So we're not going to do a whole bunch of downward dogs in this practice. Certainly some, but not as many as we do in some of the classes. So take a moment or 2 here and pay attention in downward dog to the neck and the shoulder. So anytime you're in downward dog, you want to keep the neck really neutral. So a good gazing point is at the tips of the big toes. That kind of keeps the neck safe. Okay, so you don't want to tuck the chin into the chest. And usually, well, sometimes we gaze forward, but mostly, again, it's in that nice neutral spot between. You can fan the fingers out if that feels okay. And here in downward dog, this is a prime example, classic example of finding that external rotation of the shoulders to open the chest and the upper back. Take 1 more breath here in downward dog. And now you're going to bend the knees and you're going to walk to the top of your mat. Keep the feet hips distance. The knees can be bent. You're going to circle the hands behind you and you're going to interlace the fingers. Before we fold, you're going to gaze forward to open the chest. And now you're going to start to fold over the legs. All right, knees can be really bent here if your hamstrings feel tight. Start to reach those hands up towards the ceiling. All right, if your shoulders don't like this or elbows are tight, bend the elbows. But if you can, begin to straighten them. And as you do, feel how that squeezes the shoulder blades together, opens the shoulders a little more. Let the crown of the head hang down. Take another breath here in this forward fold with that shoulder opener. And then bring the hands to the hips and slowly round through the feet. You're going to start to rise up and find mountain pose, standing tall at the top of the mat. All right, so now here, I'm just going to turn to the side just so you can see better if you need a visual. And we're going to start to take those shoulder circles again. Remember these we did just a few minutes ago when we were seated. But now, perhaps standing, we have a little more room, a little more space. And of course, after all those opening shoulder stretches, shoulder openers, it just feels a little easier. So same thing, lift the shoulders up towards the ears and then let them fall down the back and then reverse it, coming forward. Maybe again, a little more space, a little more mobility, openness. One more. All right, now just add the arms in. So start to circle the arms back. Make sure you're not near a wall or a piece of furniture or a person where you might accidentally smack your hand in. You just kind of really want to find all that looseness, all that movement. And then again, you go forward, big arm circles here, just really opening up, loosening everything up. And then last part, you're going to just cross the arms in front, let them swing side to side. Change the cross of the arm each time you come forward. Just get a couple more of these. One more. All right, now from here, top of the mat, if you turn to face the side, you're going to reach both arms overhead, let the palms meet, and then exhale. Take a big dive back down to the mat. Press the palms to the shins as you gaze forward with a flat back. And then exhale, fold. So when you come into these folds, you can have yoga blocks nearby for your hands. Inhale, rise up, try to circle the arms up, take up a lot of space, let the palms meet. And then with your exhale, release the arms by the sides back to mountain pose. We're going to do 2 more half suns to keep warming up the whole body. Inhale, circle the arms up, join the palms overhead, look up towards your sky. Exhale, slowly fold back down to the mat. Palms press to shins, stick the butt out as you gaze forward. And then exhale, let's fold again. Inhale to rise, circle the arms up, gaze up. With your exhale, release the arms down by the sides to mountain pose. One more, inhale, circle up, gaze up, lengthen up. As you exhale, fold down, the knees can be bent as you fold. Again, palms to shins, flat spine. This time, hands down, step to plank. Take the hips back up to downward facing dog. All right, here you're going to keep the lower body still, not change anything. Keep the hands about shoulder distance, and you're just going to start to bend the elbows out to the side. Keep gazing back at the tips of the toes, and then slowly straighten the arms. 2 more times, so bend the elbows out sharply. This starts to engage the upper back muscles that are called the rhomboids. And then straighten. And then we're going to do that 1 more time, and then we're going to change it. You're going to bend those elbows out, the pointy parts of the elbows, like you want to poke somebody in the eye with them. And then straighten. All right, now, walk the hands in so that the thumbs touch, and you kind of fan the fingers out. Come back to downward dog, and possibly you can hug the outer ears with the inner arms. Same thing that we did before, start to bend the elbows out to the side. You feel a little bit different in the chest and the shoulders, and then straighten. And 2 more, keep pressing the thumbs together, bend the elbows out to the side. Probably won't be able to bend them as deep, it's okay. Straighten. Let's do that 1 more time, bend the elbows out. And then carefully straighten, and then step the hands back to shoulder distance where we began. All right, you're going to take the right leg to 3-leg dog. You're going to step it into a runner's lunge pose. So start here with both hands down. You could use blocks under the hands. The left toes are tucked, left heel is lifted, and that left leg is going to help support us. So we want to make sure it's really strong and engaged. Now, keep the left hand on the mat. You could have a block. You're going to sweep the right arm long by the ear. So you're going to look out in front of you. Blink the gaze up to look at the right thumb. Now, you're going to start to circle that arm up, back, down, and around to where we started. 2 more, really slow, control. So we want to really open up that whole shoulder joint here. Get 1 more this way, big, slow, complete circles. Stretch that arm back, reach out a little more. Now go the other way. Drop it down towards the mat. Back, up, around by the ear again, down, back, up, and over. And then one more time. Big circle, slow circle. Come all the way back forward. Drop the hand down. Step the right foot to plank. Take the hips up to the sky. Back to downward dog. Take the left side now. Left leg rises to three-leg dog. Take a step forward with the left foot. Find that runner's lunge. Get set up, steady, focused here first before we circle the arms. Now, keep the right hand on the mat or a block. First, take the left arm by the ear. So before you circle, kind of reach forward a little more. Say with the left pinky finger so you get more opening and length. Look up towards, say, the left thumb. Start that slow circle back, down, and around. So you lift it up towards the ceiling. Watch it. Keep watching it. Trace the progress as it comes forward. One more this direction. Big, full, slow circle. All right, pause when you come forward. Reach again. Lengthen a little more. Now you go the other way. Drop it down towards the ground. Back, up, around, and you're watching, fixing your gaze on that left hand, left thumb the whole time. Take one more big, slow, full circle, and then bring the left hand to the mat. Step back again to plank with the hips up to downward dog. Take just a couple breaths here and observe if your shoulders already feel a little more open. Is the neck a little less stiff, sore from those nice neck stretches we did? All right, from here, you're going to bend the knees and you're going to walk to the top of your mat. Keep the feet about hips distance. You're going to bend the knees and you're going to lift up into a chair pose. So start here with the arms by the ears. That's the traditional place where we leave them. Now, you're going to start to reach the arms in front of you like we did earlier. The palms face in towards each other like you're squeezing a yoga block between. Now you're going to interlace the fingers and you're going to start to stretch the palms away from you towards the front. Keep the chest open. Keep bending a little deeper into that squat, into that chair pose. One more breath. Slowly straighten the legs and release the arms by the side. So for these next three poses, I'm going to turn again to face the side of the mat. You can do that, or you can keep facing forward, just so you have a little better visual of some of the shoulder openers we're going to do next. Have the feet about hips distance and have a little bend in the knees. So whenever you're standing in mountain pose or a different pose, you don't want to lock the knees out. All right, you don't want to push the knees back and hyperextend the joints. You want to have a little soft bend in the knee. All right, from here, you're going to bend the elbows into what we call cactus arms or goalpost arms. And as you do, you're going to open the chest to the sky. Now, you're going to curl in, and as you do, cross one arm over the other and see if you can hug yourself. Maybe the fingers can find the shoulder blades. All right, you're going to open back up, cactus arms. And then exhale as you curl and cross the opposite arm in front and give yourself that hug. Let's keep going a little faster. Inhale, bend the elbows, open the heart. Exhale, round the spine, cross the arm, hug. Keep going. Inhale to open. Change the cross each time you come forward. We have a few more of these. Opening the chest. Exhale, curling in. How about three more? Inhale, open wide. Exhale, curl in a little closer. Last two like this. Open up. Exhale, round, hug yourself. And then one more time. Just one more. Open. Exhale, close. All right, from here, we're going to work a little bit, just a few rounds on protraction and retraction of the shoulders. I'm going to turn back to the side, move around a lot in this class. First thing you're going to do is just reach the arms straight out in front of you. All right, again, squeezing that imaginary block between. Now, you don't want to lean forward. You want to keep everything really steady, so really focus on grounding through those feet. Nothing changes, except all we're going to do is start to reach the fingers forward a little more. So you're really lengthening the arms out. And now you're slowly going to pull them back. You're going to retract them. All right, think of this as sliding a drawer in and out, like a dresser drawer, in and out of the tracks. All right, so you pull the drawer out towards you, and then you pull it back in so it's flush against the wood. All right, let's do that a few more times. So reach forward again. Don't lean. That's a temptation. Stay rooted. Just reach forward, lengthen the arms, and then reslot them. Just two more. Stretch. So kind of reach the fingers forward. You really want to lengthen the arms without leaning forward. Pull them back. Retract. One more time. Stretch long. And then pull them back. All right, now you're going to take the arms overhead. You're going to interlace the fingers again. And you're going to turn till the palms face up towards the sky, but you're going to lower the tops of the hands to rest on the crown of the head, and you're going to bend the elbows out to the side. You're just going to float the hands up a little. All right, so you don't want to go this far to where the elbows straighten. We don't want to go that far. Just hover them above the crown of the head, just an inch or two, and then drop them back down. And a few more times. Float them up. Keep the elbows bending out to the side. Another good one for our rhomboids. Drop them down. Three more. Float them up. Elbows stay bent out. Don't straighten. Drop. Two more times. Float them up just a little. Barely lift. Lower down. One more time. Lift them up. Hold. Lower down. Release the arms. Give the shoulders, again, a little shake. There's a lot of stuff on the shoulders all at once. So now we're going to come into some nice shoulder stretches. Those were stretches too, but a little more strengthening, engagement, mobility of the shoulders. So I want you to come and face a wall, find a wall, and we're going to do downward dog basically at the wall. The downward upper body downward dog at the wall. Have the hands about the height of the chest, say, and keep them about shoulder distance. From here, you're going to start to step the feet away, and you're going to start to bring the torso down. Again, gaze back to the toes. Maybe bring the hands down a little lower. So again, you want the hands in line with the shoulders. And you're just going to press the hands into the wall. So the difference here is you just have a slightly firmer surface with the wall than probably most of us with the mat or the floor. And you can really focus here on bringing the torso parallel to the ground and really feel those shoulders stretch and open. Just one more breath in this downward dog at the wall. And then slowly lift the head, walk the feet in. Stay at your wall for the next couple of poses. So now you're going to face the side so that the right arm, the right side is near your wall. You're going to bend that right arm now so that the palm and forearm are pressing against the wall. So you probably need to step in a little closer. The hip, the right outer hip is away from the wall, but just a little bit, just let's call it 6-7 inches. But the whole forearm, the palm, forearm, elbow is pressing into the wall. And again, it's at about, say the hand is at about the same height as the face. All right, keep gazing forward, keep pressing that right palm and forearm into the wall, and you're going to slowly start to turn over to your left, maybe look over the left shoulder. And you should feel that in that right shoulder, and then slowly turn back to face forward. And we're going to do that 3 more times. Make it slow. So again, watch the neck here. You don't have to turn the neck to look over the shoulder. You can just kind of keep the gaze down at the floor, and you can still find that work there in that right shoulder, and then turn back forward and keep going. So the more you press that right palm and forearm into the wall, more resistance you're going to find, the more opening in that shoulder. Slowly turn forward. And let's just take that one more time. Press and turn. Come back to center, and all you're going to do, give that right shoulder a little love, a little roll around here, and then just turn the other side. So set this up first. Take a few breaths to set it up. It's important. Bend the left elbow, press the palm and forearm in. And again, step a little closer in towards the wall, but you want that left hip away from the wall. First, we stand up tall, we gaze forward, and then be really slow and deliberate here. Start to turn just where it feels good, just to where you feel that left shoulder start to respond. And then just a slow turn back forward. So the hips aren't really moving. All right, it's not a full twist. You're just turning, pressing, looking over the right shoulder or not, and then come back. And we have two more. And again, the more you can press that left palm and forearm into the wall, find that resistance, that little give and take, the more you're going to feel it. And then one more time, slowly turn, keep pressing, turn back, forward, release the arm down, maybe give both shoulders a little roll. So now for this next pose, this is eagle, full eagle pose. We'll add the legs in and the arms. Because again, just to digress a bit, when we do a class practice that's specific to one area, today being at the neck and shoulders, we don't always spend 100% of the time focused on just those areas. All right, it's, you know, it stresses it out. You get tired, you get bored, and it's hard for me as a teacher to fill up an entire hour, almost an hour, a little over an hour, focusing entirely on that area. So we add in some other little things as well. But this will be for the shoulders, but it will also, as we add in the lower body to come into full eagle, will also benefit the outer hips. So you could stand at your wall because it turns into a balancing pose. All right, but you don't have to. You could step away, and I'll also give you an alternative if you don't want to be near the wall. So we're going to start this by bending the knees a little, not as deep as we did before in that chair, kind of halfway. You're going to shift the weight to the right leg, and then you're going to wrap the left leg around the right. You can do a single wrap. Some of you, if your balance is really good, you can curl the left toes around the right ankle. Alternatively, you could come onto the ball of the left foot and lift the left heel as I'm doing, and we call this kickstand. All right, so now the left knee is on top of the right. So we're going to do the opposite with the arms. So you're going to take the right arm over the left, wrap them up, press the palms together. We've done this before, just the arms. Keep the spine tall, gaze out in front of you, start to stretch the fingers to the wall, and if you can, start to bend the knees a little more, sink down a little bit more. So keep pressing, squeezing the arms together so we get that nice shoulder and chest opener again. But again, adding in the legs now, so we're also opening up the hips. We're going to go one more breath. And now you're going to unwind the arms and unwind the legs, stand tall on both legs. And then let's take side two. So again, we start with just that little squat, half squat. Shift the weight to the left leg. You're going to take the right leg around the left. Either one wrap, that's plenty. That's plenty. If you really feel open in the hips, your balance is good, you can curl the right toes around the left ankle. And again, alternatively, you can come onto the ball of the right foot for kickstand. All right, so it's the opposite arm and leg in eagle. So it's the left arm over, right arm under. Wrap the arms up, press the palms touch, stretch all 10 fingers to the sky. Keep the spine tall. See if you can sink down a little deeper. Bend a little deeper into those knees, sink a little deeper into those hips. Two more breaths, steady the gaze. Again, balance is tricky. Here you use the wall or you use kickstand variation like I'm doing. One more breath. All right, unwind everything. Stand on both legs, give both legs a little shake. Nice to do after a balancing pose where you're using the legs a lot to support you. So good to kind of just give everything a little shake. All right, if you were still at your wall or somewhere else on your mat, come back now to the top of your mat. With your inhale, again, you're going to sweep the arms up overhead, join the palms. And then exhale, take a big dive back down to the mat. Press the palms to the shins, flatten the spine, hands down, step to plank pose. Take the hips up to downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths here. Again, we haven't done a lot of down dogs in this practice. Not the ultimate goal, ultimate point of this practice. But while we're here, again, just observe any differences from the first time we did down dog in this class. Shoulders maybe a little more open, a little more spacious. The neck feels less tight. All right, from here, let's take the right leg to three-leg dog. And you're going to step it forward. You're going to ground the left foot, and you're going to come up to warrior two. So we're going to do a little shoulder opener, a little shoulder exercise here in warrior two. But let's take a couple more breaths, set this up. Take the glance down at the right knee, make sure it's right over the ankle. Back leg is always working as hard as the front leg. So ground through that whole left foot, especially pinky edge, to wake up the quad and the hamstring. Spine is tall, and you're gazing out over the right fingers, lifting up from the low back here. All right, now you're going to make fists. You're going to curl the fingers in and make fists. And you're going to slowly curl in and tap those fists to the shoulders. And then you're going to straighten the arms back out to keep the fists. And just 3 more times. So make it slow. Curl in and then straighten. And 2 more times. So this is using our own body weight as resistance. You don't always have to use weights to work and strengthen the shoulders. 1 more time. Curl in, tap, extend, release the fist, stretch the fingers long. 1 more breath. All right, now we're just going to switch sides. Straighten the legs, turn to center, and then just pivot into warrior 2 on the other side. So turn the left toes to the back of the mat, bend the knee, turn the right toes in slightly, and again, take a couple breaths here to set up your warrior 2. On the left side, tall spine, same thing. Make fists, curl in, and then you're going to bend and tap and straighten to keep the fingers in fists. 3 more times, slow. Make it slow. Curl in, tap the shoulders, and then straighten the arms back out. 2 more times. You want to be really slow here. Slow-mo. And then straighten. And then we're going to take just 1 more time. Bend in. Extend out. Release the fist. Straighten the fingers. Turn to center. Step the feet in. Walk back to the top of the mat. As you inhale, reach the arms overhead, let the palms join. And then exhale, dive back down to the mat. Step back to plank. Lower onto all fours, hands and knees, sit to either side of the hips, and you're going to come lay on your back. So we're going to add in some core work, but because it's shoulder and neck class, we're going to add in some shoulder element. So remember, just a few minutes ago, a couple poses ago, we did eagle pose, standing. Now we're going to do the same thing, but reclining, and we're going to make it into a core pose. So the first thing we're going to do, laying on the back, is lift the legs up to tabletop position. Let's start right leg over. So cross the right knee over the left. Maybe here, since you're not balancing, you can take what we call the double bind, so you can curl the toes around the ankle. Don't worry if you can't. And then when you have the legs wrapped up, lower the left foot to the mat. Take the arms up to the sky. So once again, they're facing in towards each other. Opposite arm and leg in eagle. Take left arm over, right arm under. Wrap them up again. Palms touch, and now you're going to lower so that the fingers tap the mat above the top of the head. Inhale, you're going to lift up. See if you can tap the elbows to the knees or thighs. And then exhale, lower down. So you're going to keep going this way. Lifting up and down. Squeezing the arms together, inner elbows together, inner knees, inner thighs. If you can't tap the elbow, just some part of the legs, don't worry. Still working the core, still working the shoulder, working the hips. Lots of things going on here. 1 more, and I'm going to ask you to hold. I'm going to ask you to lift a little higher if you can, and hold here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release everything. Lower down. Just take a moment there. Let the feet on the mat. You can lay still. You can let the knees kind of drift side to side. Whatever feels good right now. Take another breath before we try that on the second side, changing the cross of the knees and the arms. All right, let's come back. These back up, 45 degrees. Cross left knee over right this time. Again, maybe double wrap. It doesn't really matter so much. Be comfortable in your knees and hips. Lower the bottom foot down when you have the wrap. Arms up. This time it's right arm over, left arm under. Palms touch, fingers tap. Inhale, everything lifts. And exhale, everything lowers. You keep going here at your own pace. Few more rounds of these eagle crunches. Trying, if you can, to connect the elbows to the top knee or thigh. Doesn't matter if you can't. Again, still getting a really good core pose here. Core strengthener. One more and hold. Hold. See if you can lift the shoulders a little higher, curl in a little closer, and let it go. Unwind everything across the arms, across the legs. This time, hug the knees to the chest. Rock a little right, rock a little left. And then you're going to rock yourself up. And right away, you're going to come lay flat on your belly. So make sure you have enough space in front of you. We're going to do a back bend on our belly. We're going to do locust pose, but we're going to add in a little shoulder strengthener, shoulder engagement. All right, come flat on the belly, press the forehead, chest, legs are long to start with, and then you're going to reach the arms also long by the ears. So think of these as lat pull down. So if you ever use at the gym the lat bar, you hold on kind of a wide arm stance and then you pull the bar down. Really good for the upper back and the chest. I'm going to kind of do the same thing here, but again, just using own body weight as resistance. First thing we do is lift the head and shoulders and float the arms up. Try to bring them up closer by the ears. You can float the legs up or you could leave them down. All right, keep the head and shoulders lifted. You're going to bend the elbows. Those cactus arms again, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then exhale, straighten the arms back by the ears. We're only going to do 4 more. Bend the elbows, cactus arms curl in like that lat bar, and then straighten. And then 3 more. Bend, squeeze, exhale, straighten. 2 more, 2 more. Elbows bend, arms straighten, and then we have 1 more. Bend in, reach long, hold the breath, and then lower down. Sweep the arms back by the hips, turn one cheek to the mat. Let's bend the knees, flex the feet, and let the feet drift side to side in a little washing machine release motion. So again, really good strengthener for the shoulders and upper back, but it's also a back bend, especially if you lift it, the lower legs. So give that low back here a little time to release and recover. Let's take 1 more breath here. All right, lower the legs down. Come back to center. You're going to lift up onto elbows form. So briefly before we go into forearm plank, find a Sphinx pose. Just a nice little kind of decongester, let's call it, for the low back. It's another back bend, but a little gentler back bend than that locust pose we just did. So take another breath here, lifting up from the low back, pressing down through palms and forearms, nice tall spine. All right, from here, interlace the fingers. Press down through the pinky finger and the whole forearm. Tuck the toes and then lift up into a forearm or low plank pose. All right, we're going to take a few breaths here. So really focus on pressing into the balls of the feet, engaging through the shins, the knees, and the quads, and also through that core again. Hopefully that core feels nice and warm and strong after those eagle crunches. 1 more breath here. Now, you're going to start to walk the feet in, lift the hips up, drop the head down towards the mat, but the head is hovering. So this is called dolphin pose. Think of it as downward dog on the forearms. If you can, see if you can walk the elbows in a little closer together. The knees can be bent here. Knees can be bent. We're just here. 2 more breaths, that's all. 1 more. All right, slowly lower the knees down. Slide back onto the belly. We're going to take now some really nice shoulder stretches. 2 different ones. It should feel really nice on the shoulders. First one, you lift a little higher. You're going to cross the right arm over the left. All right, so keep the chin lifted to begin with. And, you know, most of you probably have the hands off the mat. Maybe not, maybe a little closer. And then when you feel it's in a good spot, so the left forearm should be pressing against the chest. And then you're going to drop the chin to rest on the right upper arm. And we're going to hold here a few breaths. And as you settle in to this particular shoulder stretch, you want to try to see if maybe as you relax in, let everything release, if you can start to walk the fingers out a little further away from each other. Maybe, maybe not. Might already be at a place where it feels like it's just enough. If it's too much, you feel tightness, pull anywhere, then again, right away, you want to back off. You want to come in a little closer. But oftentimes, as we hold a pose a little longer, and you can relax and let the muscles release and the fascia expand, find you have space to crawl the fingers out a little bit more. Take a couple breaths there, and then maybe you can go even a little bit more. But again, never going beyond what feels good. Take one more breath here, and then carefully lift the chin. Come back in between sides briefly to Sphinx. That kind of just allows the shoulders and the arms to just kind of release and reset. And now take the other side. So you're going to cross left arm over right. So again, start out pretty narrow, maybe only as wide as the mat or just off. All right, nestle in so that right forearm is gently pressing against the chest, and then begin to drop the chin down onto the upper left arm. And again, we spend a little bit of time here, enough that maybe with each few breaths, you find a little more room to edge the fingers away from each other. You stop whenever it feels like this is plenty, like you're getting a nice shoulder stretch. It feels good, never painful, never too tight, never too intense. You get to a place and you went too far. That's your cue, your signal to come back a few paces. But again, a few more breaths, maybe, as you relax in, allow everything to settle, you have more space. Or maybe you don't. Shoulders are very different on everyone. Some of us have really tight shoulders, some are really open. Just depends. Shoulders are another area like the neck. Very easy to overdo, tweak something, pull a muscle, just overuse the joints. You have to always be very careful with the shoulders too. One more breath, slowly lift the chin, uncross the arms, and again, just briefly, 2 breaths back to that Sphinx pose. One more breath. All right, now we're going to take a little deeper, not necessarily deeper, but different shoulder opener, shoulder stretch. You're going to come all the way back onto the belly, forehead down, and you're going to bring the arms right out from the shoulder. So what we call, again, that T shape, right out from the T. Keep pressing down through the right palm and forearm. You're going to bend the left elbow and step the left hand in line with the face. And now you're going to roll onto that right outer shoulder side of the head, like we did with thread the needle, except we're not twisting this time. All right, this might be enough. So the legs are long or stacked. It's fine to bend the knees, maybe just the bottom knee or maybe both. Start to turn the chest up to the sky. Again, you feel this feels like a good stretch. It's, you have a lot of space. It's not tight. It's not too tense. Maybe you can start to float that top leg up. And maybe you can bend the knee and bring the foot to the mat. And that's going to get you into a little more of a chest opener and a little more intense into that right shoulder. So again, if you tried this and you're regretting it, then again, that's your signal to go back to where we began. And let's take 3 more breaths here. So just a little, maybe not necessarily a more intense stretch than that crossed armed one we did a moment ago, but just a different type of stretch, a little different feel. One more breath. All right, if you bent that left knee, restack the legs, and then slowly, carefully roll all the way back, flat onto the belly. Extend the left arm out. So again, rearrange if you need. You want both arms right out in line with the shoulders. Press down through the left palm and forearm. Step the right hand in by the face. Use that hand to help you roll onto your left side. So if it's really difficult for you to get the side of the head on the mat, should be okay. But if it's not, you could get a blanket or like a towel or something under the head to give it some support. So you don't want the head lifted here, right? So if you can't lower it easily to the mat because your neck is stiff or some other reason, get something under it to support it. Shouldn't be hovering in midair. That's going to really strain your neck. All right, again, you can keep the legs stacked. You can float the right leg up and the knee. Bring the foot to the mat so the knee kind of lifts up towards the sky. And again, that's going to take you a little deeper shoulder opener on the left side and start to open both sides of the chest to the sky. Let's just take 2 or 3 more breaths here. Again, if it's too much with the knee bent, restack the legs, come out of it. One more breath. All right, slowly roll back onto the belly. Push yourself up gently to all fours and come lay on your back. So if you took a yoga block, if you have a block, we haven't really used it, but one opportunity here to use it if you want for a relatively brief bridge pose. And we're going to add in just a little something, one more little thing for the shoulders. So start out feet hips distance. As always, make sure you're scooted in close enough. You can tap the backs of your heels with your fingers, have the block nearby if you're going to use it. You're going to press down through the feet and lift the hips up. So here you can get the block under you, lower medium height for support. We're not going to hold this bridge super long. So now here's a shoulder opener. So you kind of roll one shoulder under you and then the other. And then you walk the hands under you to interlace the fingers. Okay? So kind of use the shoulders a little bit to open the chest more. Keep the chin. All right, so this is an important one for bridge pose because I do bridge in almost every class I teach. So this is another one where you want to watch the position of the neck. You don't want to tuck the chin in so it's right into the chest. Or you also don't want to arch the neck and point the chin up towards the ceiling. That's going to really do not nice things for your neck. It's going to really strain your neck. So again, you want to kind of bring it down. So it's right in between those two places, that neutral spot. Stay here 2 more breaths. You can come out anytime, especially if you don't have a block under you to support the back. 1 more breath. All right, lift the hip, release the interlace of the fingers, lift the hips up, move the block away, and then come lay all the way down. So we're going to finish this with a twist. We're going to add in a really nice shoulder opener, shoulder exercise. Hug both knees to the chest first. And then shift the hips to the left and let the knees drift over to the right. And again, if that bottom knee doesn't come to the mat, it's okay if it hovers, but if it's way up in the air, again, kind of try to shove a blanket or a towel or something like that under it. You're going to open the arms to a T. So try as best you can to straighten the arms here. It's fine to have a little bend, but we don't want that full-on cactus position. All right. So you're going to turn and look over to the left hand. Keep the right shoulder blade grounded the whole time. You're going to start to float that left arm up towards the sky. And again, like we did earlier with those circles, keep watching the hand. It crosses the chest, crosses the body, comes all the way over towards the right. Maybe left fingers can tap the right hand or the right arm. And then just as slowly, float that arm up. So you want to make this a really slow, deliberate movement. Open it back up all the way to the left hand comes back to the mat. 2 more on the side. Float it up like it's like a feather. You want it to be really light. You don't want it to be heavy. It's like really slow. Cross it all the way over towards the right. You don't have to go all the way to the right hand. Do as best you can. And then again, slowly float it up. Cross it back. Open it back to the left side. 1 more on the side. Float the arm up. Slowly bring it up towards the ceiling. Cross it over the chest, all the way or as far as you go towards the right hand. Slowly again, last time the side, float it up. Cross it back over to the left, ground it. And now we're going to hold here 3 breaths. If it feels all right, nice on your neck, you can look over the left shoulder. But for some of us, it'll feel better to turn the gaze up to the ceiling. Keep the neck protected, not strain it. Let's take 1 more easy breath here. And then slowly come onto the back. Hug the knees in. Take the other side, set it up, shift the hips to the right. Allow the knees to fall over to the left. Again, you could choose to get something under that bottom knee for support if you want. Round the shoulder blades. Fine to have a little bend, but not a big bend. Begin to turn and look over towards the right. So you want to keep that left arm grounded the whole time. You're slowly beginning to float the right arm up. Be slow. Be light. Up to the ceiling. Cross it over the chest. All the way to the left, maybe. Right fingers can tap left palm. And then just as slow, let it float back up to the sky. And open all the way back to the right. If you can, look at the right hand. Keep going. Float it up. Slow, controlled, unhurried. Cross it over the chest towards the left. And then slowly float it back up to the sky. Let it return to where it began, to the right. And one more of these, float it up. Take it to the sky. Cross over to the left. Watch it if you can. And then last part, float it up. Take it all the way back to the right. Ground it fully now. Turn left side of the chest to the right. Maybe the neck turns, looks at the right hand, or maybe you look up towards the sky. Spend 2 more easy breaths here, grounding the shoulder blades. Take 1 more breath. All right, slowly unwind from that twist. Come back onto the back. Once again, you can feel free to hug the knees in, rock a little side to side, take a happy baby pose, any last finishing stretch you like. And that's going to be the class. That's our neck and shoulders class. Really important class. And again, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with exercise. It can certainly be beneficial, especially if you do some exercising, rowing, swimming, hiking with the hiking poles. I know a lot of us use the hiking poles these days, so the shoulders get a little more work. But it's really beneficial just for everyday use, just all the little things we do during the day. Neck gets super tight, shoulders get tight, upper back gets tight. So a lot of these things we did in this class today, you can use anytime, just to keep maybe preventive care. I would really suggest preventive care because again, that neck, it can get really tight and sore, and keeping that mobility in the neck, really helpful, super important to do. So hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again soon in another class. Have a great day.